this matchup is very interesting for Dave Gettleman's Hog Mollies, because this might be their biggest test of the year, and I'm not just saying that because it's week 1 and there's a lot of anticipation. Obviously, Andrew Thomas, rookie left tackle, Cameron Fleming, right tackle, Nick Gates starting at center. Aside from that, you're talking about a very strong opponent defensively. Here are the numbers on the Steelers' defense. Last season, right? We're going to go back to last season. Obviously, it's week 1. We don't have anything. We're going to go back to last season. If this is the same defense as they were last year, here are the numbers. They were first in turnover percentage, first in yards per play. When I say first, I mean best. First in pressure percentage getting to the quarterback. Second in EPA versus the run. Fourth in EPA versus the pass. Yeah, they were really good. And they were fourth best in drives ending in scores. So fourth fewest, right? They were the fourth best. So they allowed the fourth fewest drives and ending in scores. So, I mean, this defense, obviously you have TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward. Those are some of the big name players. Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously, in the secondary. But specifically that front seven, this might be their biggest test of the year, the New York Giants, when it comes to can their offensive line hold up. And what I will say is, don't be surprised if they struggle. This is a really, really good opponent. Their front seven, Pittsburgh's front seven, is outstanding. As you can see with those numbers, the numbers don't lie. When you're that good in that many categories, that means you're that good. It's not just one category here and there. They're literally, you can make a case, arguably the best defensive unit in football on paper heading into this season. You could easily make that case. So Andrew Thomas might struggle. Cameron Fleming might struggle. Nick Gates might struggle. It might happen, and if it does, don't be surprised. Don't say, oh, terrible draft pick, terrible move, Nick Gates is bad, oh, Dave Gettleman's horrible. Look, they're facing a good opponent, so you have to be patient. When you look at the Giants' offense last year, statistically, they were 23rd in total EPA, expected points added, and I know some probably asking, what does that mean? What is expected points added? Basically, it gives you the value of a play depending on down distance and field position. It's an advanced metric, so it gives you more of an outlook in terms of efficiency of a player or team. It's not just total yards, touchdowns, interceptions. It gives you the outlook of efficiency, right? So it's an important advanced metric. It's starting to really be used more, especially with quarterbacks, EPA per play and total EPA. But so they were 23rd in total EPA as an offense last year, an 18.3% turnover percentage, which was the third highest. That's not very good. 28.3% of their drives ended in a score. That was the second worst. That was not good either. So with the Giants offense, obviously new offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett. So how do you judge what they're going to do? No pun intended there. How do you judge what they're going to do with Jason Garrett? Well, I look at Dak Prescott from last year. 3rd in completed air yards, 6th in average intended air yards. He threw the football down the field in Jason Garrett's offense, and I think that's who Daniel Jones is. I don't think Daniel Jones is a guy who is just going to throw a bunch of short passes and dink and dunk and be precise. I don't think that's who he is. I think he really is an Eli Manning type of quarterback, not running, because I think Daniel Jones is a very good mobile quarterback that people don't talk about, and the advanced metrics back that up. But in terms of his, as a passer, I think Daniel Jones and Eli Manning are very similar. I think they enjoy throwing the football down the field, and that's what hurt Eli at the end of his career. For some reason, he just stopped doing that. Had no interest in throwing the football downfield. I remember at one point, over the past year or two of his career, he said risks are not what you want to take, so I don't know what happened to him at the end. But Eli, for the most part, the most of his career, he liked to take risks and throw the football downfield, and he threw interceptions, but he made a lot of big plays. And he made some of the greatest plays in the history of the Super Bowl. Mary Manningham, David Tyree. You think those plays would have happened with Alex Smith? I don't think so. Eli was that kind of quarterback who took risks, and it worked out for him, and sometimes it hurt him. But look at the rewards, multiple championships. So I think Daniel Jones has that in him. You look at last year's stats, he was tied for 2nd among quarterbacks in touchdown passes that traveled at least 20 yards through the air. And at one point, he led the league in on-target percentage on throws of 20-plus yards through the air. So he's a pretty efficient quarterback throwing it downfield, and I think that really helps him in Jason Garrett's offense. I think he really fits Jason Garrett's offense. So we'll see. Obviously, we will see. We'll see how this works out. It's the first week. I've mentioned before how the 2011 NFL lockout passing offense was up. A lot of quarterbacks were throwing for 5,000 or over 5,000 yards. So maybe that's something we see this season. Obviously, with the weird off season and now no preseason games, so less time for defenses to get together and really kind of communicate and understand each other. I think it definitely hurts defenses. But I mean, with Jason Garrett being a new offensive coordinator, I don't know. Maybe it will hurt Daniel Jones. I think you have to be patient with the Giants' offensive line with this matchup specifically against the Steelers, and you got to be patient with Daniel Jones in general with a new offensive coordinator. So that's one thing in terms of Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett I would like to note.